welcome to the next tutorial and the last one for setting up our text animations. Next we'll be looking at our backgrounds and adding some wiggle to our compositions. But for now, let's just create this thanks for being here animation. And this is a reveal. You can see that the text is being revealed basically out of nowhere. And this is a fun technique to use in all sorts of motion graphics. So what I'm going to do is take my scene 3, duplicate it, open it up. As always, select all my text layers and delete them. I'm going to drag over my hello audio. Just take this final bit. I'm going to leave a little bit more on so that it stays, I can keep it on the screen for a bit longer, and go to trim comp to work area. So now I'm just going to add the text to my scene. Thanks for being here. So kind of me. Thanks for being here. Then I'm just going to move it around. I'm going to move the thanks for being here, or for being here, at the bottom. I'm going to increase the size of this thanks, something like this right at the top. I'll make it really big this time. Maybe I'll use my align to center it perfectly. Thanks for being here. And this is kind of fun to be small right here. I don't necessarily need it to be the width of the thanks. So I'll just put it right about here. So that's centered. And I'll just select all this and move it down a bit. Let's just select all and move down. Okay, so how do we do a quick and easy reveal of this? It's with something called track mats. Now, this is going to take a little bit of extra work, but I'm sure you can follow along. So what you want to do is go up to your shape tool or your rectangle tool right here. Deselect anything down here in your timeline. You don't want to be selecting anything. Make sure you have a fill, so make sure that it's actually not set to none, but set to solid color. It doesn't matter what color it is. And then with stroke, just set that to 0. And then what we're going to do is draw a shape over our thanks text. Try to match it up as much as possible, but make sure that it covers everything. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my shape layer right on top of my thanks layer. And then I'm going to, in my thanks layer, see this track mat column, set that from none to alpha matte shape layer 1. And what that's basically doing is wherever this shape layer is, the thanks text is able to be seen. Where it's not able to be seen. So if I take this thanks text and I move it around, you can see that it starts to disappear where the rectangle isn't. So I'm going to take this rectangle, move it up. I'm just selecting it and using the up arrows on my keyboard to move it right at the bottom of the thanks. So now I'm going to add just a position animation. So we've already done this, but this is how you do the reveals. Press P with our thanks text. At 10 frames or so, I'm just going to set a keyframe for position, go back to 0, and I'm going to move my thanks text down. I'm also going to add motion blur to all my text layers and easy ease to this layer. And with my graph editor, make it pop a little bit, selecting both keyframes, dragging them in. And there you have a nice pop reveal. So the next thing we're going to do is do the same process for the rest of the text. So with our rectangle tool, make sure nothing's selected down here in our timeline. We're going to just create a big rectangle that covers all of these text layers. Drag this shape layer 2 right above 4. And with the 4 text, change the none track matte to alpha matte shape layer 2. Now take this shape layer 2 and move it just down to the very top of this text. Duplicate it, move it above being, duplicate it again and move that new layer above here. And now take the here layer, change the track matte from none to alpha matte shape layer 4, the being from none to alpha matte shape layer 3. And now what we can do is at our 10 frames, select all of our text layers. So here being 4, press P on our keyboard to bring up position, set a keyframe, go back to 0, move all this text up because it's going to be revealed down. Select both keyframes, F9 on your keyboard to add easy ease, graph editor, select the keyframes, drag in to create this pop, and now we can see what it looks like. So a nice little pop, a little bit of motion blur, looking really good. I'm just going to select all, press SS to close down everything, select my audio, open that up, and then I'm just going to drag my text layers to the right. So 4 should be about here, 4 being, let's see where it is. It's about like so. Thanks for being here. It's a little late, so drag these to the left a bit. So you can see that sometimes when you're listening to something, you'll notice that the end of the animation is where you want it to be on the screen when it's being said. There you have it. That's a pretty cool little animation. The last thing we did was added an exclamation point. So just going to add this exclamation point, center it down at the bottom of the composition. Make sure that my anchor point is down at the middle of the bottom. And at the very end, when thanks for being here is being appeared onto our screen or revealed, I'm going to add a scale animation. So press S for your exclamation point, scale at 100, go back a few frames, set that to 0, easy ease it. So select both, F9, go to graph editor, go to our value graph and make this pop a little bit, so above 100%, something like this. That's very fast, so what I'm going to do is just make this a little bit slower by extending the time between these keyframes. And I think it goes a little too high because it starts to go over the being text. So I'm going to go back to my graph editor, drop it down a bit, something like that. Very awesome. Now we have our thanks for being here text. We have all of our scenes set up. In the next video, I'm going to be teaching you how to put it all together and add background.